sorry, I've sent you the PPT, Akshit. I've just sent you the PPT just now. If you can share it on.
Okay, sir.
हाँ मैंने अभी शेयर कर ली है प्लीज आप उसको so without taking any more of your time thank you all for waiting for these 10-15 minutes I'm really uh, excited to share whatever information I have about this very interesting ability who was not given his until a long time and whatever had and the kind of entrepreneurial spirit, as I say, when I read this, and I would like the first slide would explain that what exactly when I speak about his entrepreneurial spirit. So, all I here to say, Ji Maharaj is who been commemorated by number of people starting Tilak. Tilak was one of the first ones who made him a very popular figure. In Maharashtra, he was a very popular figure, all over popular figure. And if you, before delving deep or before diving into Shivaji's biographical sketch and certain interesting facts about his life and which have not been given a lot of importance, I would like to share one piece of information with you that various reformers of the 20th century and the freedom fighters of the 19th of the 20th century they spoke highly of Shivaji Maharaj, including Rabindranath Tagore, Jyotiba Phule, and Vivekananda and others. They spoke very highly of this man, and they said that this was a man who was not just responsible for the foundation of the Maratha Empire. That is there. He should get his due for that. But he was a man who was ahead of his times in a certain sense. So we would also make certain comparisons of this particular person. That especially there have been the attempts have been very few to compare Shivaji with some other rulers. So we have certain great rulers in India. We have Ashoka. We have Akbar. Also is considered to be a great ruler because of his tolerant policies and because of his charitable and religious tolerance. But Shivaji was not kept in that, and I think Shivaji is. It's high time that we bring him to, with we keep his name along with Akbar and Ashoka because he was. When you read. I would want to start with a very recent biography. एक बड़ी recent में एक biography आई है शिवाजी की, which is written by Vaibhav Purandre. Now the Vaibhav Purandre is an acclaimed historian. He is also written on Savarkar, and he writes biographical accounts of various, and he's a Marathi scholar. उन्होंने जो शिवाजी के बारे में लिखा है अगर व्हेन you can finish that book page by page it's so interestingly written the narrative and it is based on historical sources so when we are speaking I assume a large number of students over here would be from history so in history sources बड़े महत्वपूर्ण हो जाते हैं कि आप अपना जो एविडेंस लेके आते हैं वो कहाँ से लेके आते हैं सो कहते हैं ना कि इतिहास बुरा और अच्छा नहीं होता इतिहास एविडेंस बेस्ड होना चाहिए देयर इज नो बैड हिस्ट्री देयर इज नो गुड हिस्ट्री हिस्ट्री शुड बी एविडेंस बेस्ड एंड इफ यू हैव एविडेंस इन ऑर्डर टू show then and if your evidences are credible and you can corroborate them there's a तीन चार if you the basic methodology of history writing is that if there is a particular source of information you need to corroborate it with different sources of information so now let us go to the first just if you can Akshit get to the first like the first not the introduction before it jo photo hai Shivaji ki the portrait of Shivaji I would want you people to see the portrait of Shivaji on the first slide before this, before the introduction. Yeah, so I have. So for me, today's topic was that how is he relevant in today's world, and how is he is very relevant for today's administrative, you know, for making today's administrative a better preposition and better, and learning from him. We should not just limit this persona to administration. He was much more than that. He was a entrepreneur. He was a management expert. He was a diplomat in a certain sense. So I've specifically kept him as a military strategist. He was not one. And the most important thing about Shivaji is he was a people's leader. ये जो चीज है ये बड़ी ज्यादा इसको it's not given a lot of it's not spoken about, or it's just taken to be, but we need to mention this whenever we speak about Shivaji Maharaj, that he was a people's leader who was very specific about humanitarian issues, and he was very specific about women rights also. When you read Vaibhav Purandare's book, the name of the book is Shivaji, India's Great Warrior King. He specifically speaks about that how this man, one of the Deshmukhs. तो अगर आपने मराठा इतिहास पढ़ा होगा तो उसमें ये जो देशमुख्स होते हैं, दे आर revenue collectors basically, and they also look after certain other issues of a district, kind of a district. Regional जो administrative units होती हैं उसके head होते हैं देशमुख्स, and they were very powerful before the coming of Shivaji. And even Shivaji's father and great grandfathers, they had administrative positions of patil, and they had certain rights over certain villages. So Shivaji faced, when he was coronated in 1674 and became the emperor, he faced the issue whereby a woman was raped by particular Deshmukh. And his way of taking, the punishment which was given to this man, because Deshmukhs are powerful, you cannot just, it was a man who had a holding over. And in those days, if a man, especially a wealthy man and a powerful, influential aristocrat, if he indulged in any such molestation and harassment, he would be, not some money would be taken from him. He would not be jailed, and not a harsh punishment would be given to them. But Shivaji was not of such nature. Even if it is a Deshmukh, he made sure that a harsh punishment is given to him. Capitation of his hands took place, that his hands were cut off, this particular person. Although the Deshmukhi rights were not taken away, but a harsh punishment was given. I'm just giving you an example in order to show that Shivaji was a strict disciplinarian and a law and order person when it came to such instances. We need to give importance to these facts also when we are reading about Shivaji. Why do I call him a people's leader? Because he knew the he knew the sentiments of the people. So I'm just giving this. I hope you're catching up with me. That he was someone who could feel the sentiments of people. He was someone who could people looked up to him with admiration and inspiration. And the reason being that he, even if you see some of his writings and whatever, some of his letters which were written to different people in his lifetime, you would see that he exactly knew the sentiments, and that's the reason he gave the call for Hindvi Swaraj. That is the Swaraj for the Hindu people. And see, rather than reducing this phenomena to that he, whether he was speaking in favor of the, we should not reduce him to that. He was much more than that. He was such a tolerant man that he had a large number of non-Hindus in his in his contingent. He was such a prudent man. मैं ये adjectives इसलिए use कर रहा हूँ क्योंकि they will the number of these adjectives will be less when you read this in depth. If you read about Shivaji Maharaj, he was very prudent. He was a tolerant man, but at the same point of time, he never took anything in a very laid back manner. He was very astute when it came to his rights, when his opportunities. He grabbed onto them. He was a very clever man when it came to diplomacy. That how do you have diplomatic relations with different people, and how do you persuade people. So we will look at the Afzal Khan incident today. which is such a memorable incident. And if you see YouTube and if you just put Shivaji Maharaj and Afzal Khan, you will find a large number of visuals, videos, and showing Afzal Khan to be a huge figure. But the what we need to pay importance to is the letters which were exchanged between them. And if you see those letters, you would feel like you would understand what kind of a man Shivaji was. I think after Chinese diplomats, if anybody could, give them give them competition, because Chinese diplomats are considered to be very shrewd and very prudent and intelligent and persuasive. I think he would give them a run for their money. Shivaji would give them a run for their money. If you look at his letters to Afzal Khan, he was so diplomatic and he was so persuasive in order to that, because Afzal Khan left the important important position which he had gained after taking over certain territories of Shivaji. Shivaji could persuade him to come to his own territory. Imagine you are persuading your enemy to come to your own camp, and then also making sure that he's not bringing his army with along with it. So those diplomatic skills are very important. Administration mein to hai that administration mein he included, we know about the ministries, the Asht Pradhan, the Council of 8 ministries which he formed, and how he was very particular about the advice given by his ministries, even the Peshwas and everybody. He took their advice very seriously on any matter of importance. So this was basically, now let us start with the biographical sketch of Shivaji, that because there are certain pieces of interesting information about him which I took from Vaibhav Purandare. So if you can please Akshit, get to the introduction. So this portrait which I have used, see, always whenever you are looking at any portrait of any historical figure, you need to make sure that these are portraits which were used from this is the primary source. So it was made in 1617 80s, mostly by a Dutch painter. जो ये मैंने आपको portrait दिखाया, and it is in the British Museum right now. So you also because many images were made in later period in the 19th-20th century. Okay, as historians, we need to be very careful when we are using any sort of picture. Okay, so this was the picture which was made in the 1670s, 80s in Surat, they say. In Surat, this picture was made by a Dutch painter when he saw. और अभी मैं आपको बताऊंगा कि the physical description of Shivaji also we have. जो जब वो आगरा गए, when he was taken to Agra on the call of Aurangzeb, that was also a very a very prudent and a very clever move by Shivaji. And you'll be I don't know whether you know or not, even the amount of money, it was when Treaty of Purandar was signed in 1665, people think that it was something which was a setback for the Marathas, but you need to know that the money for his traveling, कि भाई जब गए शिवाजी पुणे से आगरा, तो all the expenses were paid by Aurangzeb. It was not Shivaji was paying for his expenses. वो पूरी 1 लाख की 1 लाख rupees was allotted specifically for that. So आप उसको वैसे नहीं देख सकते कि नहीं, take Mirza Raja. And Mirza Raja Jai Singh had a very important role in this. And see, whatever has been said about that there was this enmity and Mirza Raja, but it was only because of the pursuance of this fellow called Mirza Raja Jai Singh that Shivaji agreed, and probably it was because of that I might be over history does not tell you certain things. So there is something which is which I have a line which I use whenever I'm teaching my students, that either tie someone by interest or emotions. There can be only two things which can tie a person to you, either by emotions or interest. So over here, I think emotions also played a role, whereby he saw a person who belonged to or that feeling of brotherhood might have been there to a certain extent, not overpowering, but to a certain extent. And that's the reason you see that if within, I think, 3-4 days, Mirza Raja and Shivaji, they reach a conclusion He's not adamant upon, not giving up his forts after the Treaty of Purandar is signed. He say, okay, fine, I'll go, and I'll even take my son along with me, Sambhaji, the eldest son. Recently, in popular culture, Sambhaji has become a very daring phenomenon, and he was a very brave warrior. And open battlefield में कहते हैं कि शांबाजी had was very much more ferocious warrior when it came to open battlefields, क्योंकि मराठास mostly guerrilla warfare करते थे, which was very prudent also, कि भाई if you do not have the number of resources नहीं है तो of course you have to defeat your enemy by hook or crook, which was Shivaji's way of doing things. So, but Shambhaji on the open battlefield also was very great, and left this world quite early because of different issues. But he was a great Chhatrapati. So now let us go to the introduction. If I just take you people to the introduction, if you look at the introduction part, okay. Am I audible? Is there any, because I'm getting a issue of that my voice is not clear.
Yes, sir, you are.
Okay, I'm audible. Okay, thank you. So let me just go to the slide. And so in the introduction, the first lines which I use, I've taken them from Vaibhav Purandare. Now this would show you that historically what kind of phenomena Shivaji was. Now we read him in contemporary, he's very relevant for contemporary times also. When we look at his military strategy, when we look at, his vision about his naval fleet, the Maratha naval fleet, his entrepreneurial and adventurous spirit of surprise and shock attacks, all those are very relevant in today's world. But in order to gain the kind of important person he was historically, there are two things which I would want to share with you. One is this line which is given in Vaibhav Purandare, and I quote: "Imagine an individual ranged against an empire, and imagine that the empire is among the world's biggest and most powerful of its time." So this is not of course, Shivaji's father Shahaji and his great father Maloji and then his great great father Babaji. All these, starting from Maloji and then Shahaji, also played a very important role, which is sometimes not given a lot of. शाहजी को इतना ज्यादा महत्व दिया नहीं जाता है, बल्कि उन्होंने बहुत ज्यादा महत्वपूर्ण योगदान दिया था in the foundation of the Maratha Empire, and as a person who taught Shivaji to be what Shivaji became in his later years. It was because of Dadaji Kondadev, who was sent by Shahaji to to mentor and to guide Shivaji in his early years, and giving Shivaji the Jagir of Pune at a very young age, and to control that Jagir, to administer that Jagir. And so Shahaji also had a role. His father had a very important role in what he became in later years. We need to, we'll speak about that later a little bit. First, let us try to, focus upon what kind of individual Shivaji was and how important he was. So he was fighting against the biggest empire of that time. We need to know that. And Aurangzeb he was a very able general and he was a very able commander. You need to know that also, that Shivaji was not fighting against a weak ruler. Shivaji was fighting against one of a very shrewd commander general of the Mughals. And very few people would stand would stand a chance against him. But Shivaji, because of the phenomena and because of the charismatic personality he could stand, and he literally was a pain when it came to Aurangzeb, and Aurangzeb was well aware about it. अगर आप अभी हम लोग देखेंगे आगे स्लाइड्स में, Aurangzeb was of the opinion कि please sign a treaty with him. I am ready to join hands with this person. I don't want to, because he knew that these, especially the Marathas, they did result into the decline of the Mughal Empire. You need to know that after 1689, after the Sambhaji episode, the Marathas became even more ferocious and kept on fighting the Mughals, and it resulted into the coming up or the foundations or Maratha Empire becoming even more, expanding even more, and the Mughals declining in the 18th century. That is known to all of us. So Shivaji was fighting against an empire. We need to start from there. He was not fighting against a small kingdom or a small dynasty, and he was successful in coronating himself, and he was successful in becoming the emperor of the Deccan or of of the Marathas. Now another debate which is there. It is so we are celebrating the birth anniversary of, according to the Gregorian calendar. But there is a debate on the birth of Shivaji also. So there are two dates which are given. One is 27th April 1627 and one is 19th Feb 1630. So I'm following the later date because the recent biography by Purandare follows that date. And a number of acclaimed historians also follow that date. Okay, so we will be following 19th February 16. So I'm just starting with this debate because history can be, very. It can be a very vexatious issue when it comes to such dates and all, but we will go with 1630 19 February because it is supported by a large number of historians, and because it is based on certain biographical accounts which were written during the time of Shivaji. So there was a book called Shiv Bharat. अगर आपको शिवाजी के बारे में, एंड इट वाज रिटन ऑन द ऑर्डर्स ऑफ शिवाजी हिमसेल्फ, शिवाजी ने खुद ने अपने ऑर्डर्स दिए थे इन ऑर्डर टू राइट दैट बुक, एंड इट वाज रिटन बाय अ पर्टिकुलर बुक कॉल्ड संत परमानंद. उन्होंने ये किताब लिखी थी, एंड इन दैट द डेट इज कंफर्म्ड. देन वी हैव सर्टेन horoscopes and certain vanshavalis which are found in Rajasthan, because if I tell you about the Bhosle clan from which Shivaji belonged, Shahaji Bhosle and Shivaji Bhosle, they considered themselves to be natives of Rajasthan. They said that their clan and the had migrated to Maharashtra from Rajasthan, and from there they got the name of the Bhosles. The clan, the Kul name जो है, Kul का जो नाम है उनका, it was from the Sisodias of Rajasthan. So Shivaji also had a connection with Rajasthan. So it is said. So उसके horoscopes में भी हमें थोड़ी बहुत जानकारी मिलती है about the birth date of Shivaji. So I just wanted to bring it in front of you that there is a debate regarding that, and 1630 is considered to be, most of the historians follow that. Now I want to. The first thing, because there are a lot of debate, how did he look, what kind of, that physical appearance in history sometimes takes a backseat. Nobody discusses it. Nobody thinks that it is important. But in visual, when you visualize someone, it really is, it is a different, it helps you in order to, know about that person, or you feel closer to that particular event or that particular context more. So in this line of my second slide, please, Akshit, if you move to the second slide. I've given you, I just wrote these three lines, which were when he was attending the Mughal court after Aurangzeb gives him the invitation and he attends the Mughal court after the Treaty of Purandar. This was written by a court official to Mirza Raja Jai Singh, जो official था दरबार में उस समय मुगल दरबार में, उसने ये लिखा, and एक particular official ने मिर्जा राजा जय सिंह को लेटर में लिखा, and this was written by him. ये चीजें लिखी गई. When one sees him, it feels like he's a ruler of men. Okay, so this is not a Marathi writing. This is someone who was at the Mughal court and writing to Mirza Raja Jai Singh कि इस प्रकार से गतिविधियां हुई, तो वो ये description दे रहा है शिवाजी का. He keeps a beard and is fair in complexion. He is handsome, lean and short. So we can come to know that what kind of personality Shivaji might have been. Also, when we read about Shivaji and when we read about the Afzal Khan episode, we also come to know that he was a very agile fellow. In that sense that he did not carry a lot of weight probably, and he was very agile and he was very athletic in that sense. That's the reason he could maneuver around. And this was basically the kind of upbringing which he had in his early years. So Jijabai ke saath jab wo Shivneri Fort mein, where he was born, and people say that he was named Shivaji because of Lord Shiva, or because he was born in Shivneri Fort. So there are all different, but one of these reasons must have been there, because of which he was named Shivaji. So in his initial years, his childhood years are very important because he Shahaji was on in areas near Bangalore. Consolidating the rule of the Nizam Shahis. वहाँ पे he was helping the Nizam Shahis to consolidate their rule, and he was over here with his mother Jijabai. Shivaji was in Pune, and initially itself, the kind of teaching which he had that made him the person he was in the later years. So he was taught reading, writing. He was taught arithmetic, basic, and there was a there was a tradition to teach. Especially princes or especially aristocratic families, there was a tradition to teach them Ramayana and Mahabharata. So at a very early age, he was taught Ramayana and Mahabharata by his family, members of his family, and we come to know that he was very fond of devotional music. Shivaji was very fond of devotional music, and तुकाराम जो कि एक बहुत महत्वपूर्ण भक्ति सेंट पोएट थे उस समय के, he was very fond of तुकाराम के भजनों के बड़े वो he was very fond of it, of तुकाराम, and that also shows that ये जो अपब्रिंगिंग हुई इस प्रकार के एनवायरमेंट में, तो वो बड़ा इंक्लूसिव ये मेरे को बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग लगता है और वेरी similar thing which is there between Shivaji and Maharana Pratap, that these two fellows, they were very charismatic to the. They were very charismatic in the sense that they followed a path which was very thorny. They did not follow the path which was very easy for them to walk on. Rather, they followed the path which was, and they were men who created their own destiny. Okay, they were not men who destiny created. They were men who created their own destiny. You need to keep that in mind, following the path they chose. And a very similar similarity between these two people were the Mavlas of in and around Pune. There were hilly areas, and from there the Mavlas were the tribal people around those areas, and the personal bodyguards of Shivaji were all Mavlas. These Mavlis were very important for the foundation of the Marathas and for Shivaji, and they played a very important role, the core group who provided him security. And if you see Maharana Pratap, he was also very fond of the Bhils. So in his initial years, when he was very small, Maharana Pratap stayed with the Bhils for a very long period of time. Because of the attack on Uday Singh by the Mughals, he stayed in the Bhil territory for a very long time, and the Bhils supported him all the time until his death. So this is a very important. This was because of their inclusive nature. This was because of the kind of education or the kind of values which were given to them. That they were also taking these people. Yeah, he was called Kika. Kika, that's what he was called, Kika by them, by the Bhils. That was the name given to Maharana Pratap by them. So this is and imagine these two people were going to become the most commemorative figures when we speak about Indian history. So this inclusive तुकाराम का जो ये मैंने आपको इसमें दिया, it just speaks about that how tolerant and how compassionate and how empathetic these rulers were. That humane part needs to be given important because it's a very important एस्पेक्ट ऑफ देयर पर्सनालिटीज जो ज्यादा जिसके बारे में चर्चा नहीं होती. इकोनॉमी सोसाइटी के बारे में ही हम लोग ज्यादा चर्चा करते रह जाते हैं, बट बायोग्राफिकल स्केचेस में ह्यूमैनिटेरियन वैल्यूज जो उनके पास थी, दैट ऑल्सो मेड देम वेरी क्लोज टू द पीपल दे वर गवर्निंग. नाउ he was now see the kind of impact the Ramayana and Mahabharata has. He introduced the teaching of chapters on war from Ramayana in his fort garrisons. तो क्योंकि a number of forts were built by, तो अगर आप शिवाजी की बात कर रहे हैं और अगर शिवाजी के किलों की और गढ़ की बात नहीं कर रहे हैं तो फिर इनकम्प्लीट है उनकी स्टोरी. और his account, he made a large number of forts, and imagine these forts were built by him as a very strategic move. It was a very strategic move. He knew that I stay in a particular territory, or he stayed in a particular territory which was hilly. He knew that if I come on the battlefield, the open battlefields, and challenge the Mughals, because the Mughals had a lot of resources, हम लोग क्या करते हैं जब ब्रेवरी की और जब बैटलफील्ड्स की बात करते हैं ना, तो आर माइंड इज सो रोमांटिसाइज्ड विद द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ ब्रेवरी दैट we do not look at the strategic side of it. Dying on the battlefield would not prove, it can prove that you are a brave man, but it would not prove you as a military strategist. He was a military strategist, and that's why he is relevant today also. And he's Shivaji. There are chapters on Shivaji which are taught in Indian Military Academy. Okay, to our different cadets who want to become and serve the Indian Army. So ये जो strategy है और stratagems है whereby he made forts. फोर्ट्स के जो गैरिसन्स को, जो गैरिसन का मतलब होता है जो टुकड़ी हुआ करती थी फोर्ट को जो मैनेज करती थी, he was very, he kept them, he made them very important, significant men. That आप अगर, क्योंकि if the garrison which is protecting the fort gives away, or अगर if whenever any enemy attacks, if they give away easily, then what happens is your empire takes a setback. So those garrisons he had appointed very, किलेदारों को बड़े इन्होंने अच्छे से नियुक्त किया हुआ था, जो कि easily forts को जाने नहीं देते थे अपने हाथ से. And these forts became not just the symbols of power, symbols of Maratha power, but they were also they also played the role of management. That if the Mughal army is attacking one fort, then we always have the next fort to go to. And Shivaji kept on doing this, and even Pratap kept on doing this. Okay, so this speaks about their, the strategies, which they were not just brave warriors, they were strategists also. We need to give due to that. That मिलता था तो आपको शिवाजी की वो बड़ी फेमस है कि यू नीड टू टेक 2 स्टेप्स बैक इन ऑर्डर टू टेक 4 स्टेप्स फॉरवर्ड. ये पॉलिसी बड़ी फेमस थी शिवाजी की कि whenever time came, he was such a prudent man who never took anything to his head, all the things to his head. He took 2 steps back if he had to, because he knew. And see, that is the difference between जादूनाथ सरकार. अगर आप पढ़ेंगे तो सांबाजी और शिवाजी के बीच में जो वो एक डिफरेंस बताते हैं, वो यही कहते हैं कि सांबाजी वाज अ डेस्परेट वॉरियर who looked for war. कि नहीं, मेरे को I want to fight. But Shivaji was not. He was a patient warrior who would also take steps back. कि नहीं, I need to take 2 steps back and then make my move. Because if I am alive, because I am the king, I have certain responsibility. If I am alive, then my people. He really thought about the people. When different. He could have left, when the Mughal armies and the Nizam Shahi armies under Afzal Khan, they were attacking different forts. He could have left the fort and gone on to other fort and lived there. But he signed the Treaty of Purandar in 1665 because he could not see the loss which, the human loss which his army was facing. In his letters, you find that because of this human loss, I am signing this treaty, because I do not want my men to die because of me. So he was forced. तो वो मिर्जा राजा जयसिंह की ये भी एलिमेंट है उनका, which is very relevant, that he was a public people's leader who thought about his people. Now, Shivaji was married to different women, and that was also one of his, in order to consolidate his, emerging power, because he was the first Chhatrapati who had the Chhatra over him, the umbrella of power over him. And he married different important, influential people so that he could expand his power and consolidate his power. So he was the first woman he was married to was Saibai. She was the daughter of Mudoji Nayak Nimbalkar, and he was a very important man. We know little about her, but we know that Nimbalkar supported Shivaji when it came to. So this matrimony in those times, certain matrimonies were also, in a certain sense, they were marriages also, and they were alliances also. So he was very clear in his head. Even Shahji was very clear in his head when he was married, when he got him married to this woman. Now, spear games में बड़े अच्छे थे ये. Wrestling में he was very good because he was brought in a hilly area, so he was good in all these things from his early age. And people say that he was a people's person. He was not someone who would sit idle in his fort or in his palace and not pay heed. He was a person who made mingled with people. अगर आप पुरंदरे की पढ़ेंगे तो he was someone who liked speaking to people. He was a person who wanted to be with people. You know, who listened to them. You know, who enjoyed their company. He was you know, एक camaraderie establish करना चाहते थे वो हर व्यक्ति के साथ जिसके साथ भी वो बैठते थे. और एक बड़ी अच्छी थी कि वो नेचर लवर थे. वो नेचर लवर, ये वाली चीज ज्यादा लोग बताते नहीं है. एंड दैट हेल्प्ड हिम अ लॉट इन ऑर्डर टू टेक ओवर अ लॉट ऑफ प्लेसेस इन द, जो बाद में जो फॉरेस्ट एरियाज से जंगल से ही हैड टू, यू नो, when he escaped from Agra also, he had to travel through jungles and forest. When he was moving in these hilly areas, you know, and protecting himself from the Mughals also, he was, you know, taking help of the nature, you know, forest and other jungles and everything. And this was due to his upbringing in his earlier age. तो उस समय कहते हैं कि शिवाजी could imitate the voice of a large number of birds and other animals. He had learnt it from his initial years only. कि a number of animals he could imitate there and mimic their voice, which was a very fascinating, you know, information about him. And this is what made him the, you know, inspired people to, you know, admire him. That he was लग्जरी थी कोर्ट लाइफ की, वो उन्होंने, यू नो, जो कहते हैं ना कि एक सैक्रिफाइस का जो एलिमेंट है, दैट वाज आल्सो देयर इन हिम, व्हिच इज वेरी रेलेवेंट फॉर अस टुडे इफ यू स्पीक अबाउट टुडेज एथिकल वैल्यूज एंड टुडेज एडमिटिव टू like the luxury of courtly life. He left that and he was more interested in nature. He was more interested in looking at or spending time with men, listening to their problems, listening to their issues, and of course improved and man of you know, different. He was a wrestler. He knew very good riding. He knew Mahabharata and Ramayana. He could learn lessons from them. So all this. Now you will understand, जो मैं आपको बात बता रहा था कि Shivaji was born in 1630, as you all know, and in 1648 we find he was very clear from the age of 14-15 that he wanted to carve out an empire. उसी समय उन्हें he had started cultivating this mindset that I would want to create an empire and probably a kingdom of myself. I would not want to work under the Nizam Shahis or shake hands with the Mughals. Rather, I want to create an entity of myself. So now, if you speak from the perspective of management, तो it is a startup. Marathas, अगर आप उस समय में बात करें तो he is the founder of a startup basically. ठीक है. And now how is he founding this empire, which is very important for us to know. तो 1648 में जो पहला वो करते हैं कि वो अपने ऑफिशियल पेपर्स जो होते हैं, जो सील होती है, ही स्टार्ट्स टू यूज ए न्यू सील फॉर हिज ऑफिशियल पेपर्स. नाउ दिस इज जस्ट अ स्मॉल पॉइंट, लेकिन दिस वाज टू शो पीपल दैट नाउ देयर इज अ पर्सन who is aspiring to be a leader, who is aspiring to be a king in the later years. He's not just a small chief. He wants to, and he's intending to be a ruler in the coming future. And the motto is welfare of the people. That seal has a motto, and the motto of that seal is कि मुझे welfare of the people. I want the welfare of the people whenever I'm speaking, you know, working, and I want to work for them. एंड फिर हम लोग एक 1656 के एक लेटर के बारे में जो मैं आपको बता रहा था, विच शोज के औरंगजेब का जो पहले जब औरंगजेब इज नॉट द रूलर, ही इज द इंचार्ज ऑफ डेक्कन बिफोर ही बिकम्स द रूलर ऑफ मुगल एम्पायर इन 1658. एक औरंगजेब एक लेटर लिखता है मालतुफात खान को, हु इज द गवर्नर ऑफ अहमदनगर, और वो इसको कहता है कि आप ना शिवाजी को एंकरेज करो कि जॉइन हैंड्स विद द मुगल्स. ठीक है. नाउ in 1656 itself, he recognizes the fact that if I'm not taking over this particular man called Shivaji, because, and what is the age at this point of time? He's 26. Shivaji is 26 at this time. So Shivaji is a young man who had, who is ambitious, who wants to do something, and all the activities which he's doing, क्योंकि gradually वो निजाम शाहीज की कुछ territories को अपने, he takes over those territories under his own rule. So he understands Aurangzeb. So the first ये जो थियरी है कि बार बार औरंगजेब तो कंसिडर करते थे कि शिवाजी वाज अ माउंटेन रैट एंड नथिंग एल्स, दिस डज नॉट स्टैंड ट्रू. इसको अगर आप स्क्रूटनाइज करें
औरंगजेब was never considered Shivaji as a, भले वो लिखा है मासीर आलमगीरी में और अलग अलग सोर्सेज में, पर्शियन सोर्सेज में, लेकिन he was not. He was Aurangzeb knew very well clearly that this is a man who's not a mountain rat, but he is, you know, a person who's going to create an empire. He's a very prudent and a very brave fellow. A person with determination. He might create an empire or might create a kingdom. So I need to stop him here. And if he is creating a particular empire, then I need to shake hands with him rather than fighting against him. Because मेरे डेक्कन वाले अलग भी और बाकी भी हैं कि भाई मुझे जो different डेक्कन सल्तनत हैं उनके साथ I need to take over those sultanates in order to. So Marathas were Shivaji by 1655-56 is becoming a power to reckon with. नाउ जब वो ये कहते हैं तो शिवाजी क्या करते हैं, रादर देन, जब इसका लेटर आता है इस व्यक्ति का औरंगजेब के थ्रू, तो शिवाजी रादर देन शेकिंग हैंड्स विद हिम, ही अटैक्स द टेरिटरीज ऑफ अहमदनगर एंड जूनार. एंड हाउ डज ही डू इट? ही क्लाइम्स द वॉल ऑफ द जूनार फोर्ट विद रोप लैडर्स. ठीक है, एंड ही वॉक्स अवे विद अ लार्ज अमाउंट ऑफ मनी. नाउ व्हाई एम आई टेलिंग यू अबाउट दैट? व्हाई डिड आई से? सी, using such words as startup might you know not be liked by a number of today like conventional इतिहासकारों को शायद ना पसंद हो, लेकिन if you do not have financial resources, you cannot create your own army, you cannot create your own state. And that is why I am telling you about that how Shivaji was able to do it. क्योंकि इन नुआंसेस में कोई जाता नहीं है. अगर आपको एक स्टेट बनाना है तो आपके पास रेवेन्यू होना चाहिए. रेवेन्यू आप तभी इकट्ठा कर सकते हैं जिस प्रकार से आज लेजिस्लेचर, एग्जीक्यूटिव और यू नो डिफरेंट ब्रांचेस ऑफ गवर्नमेंट है, उसी प्रकार से एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम ऑल्सो यू नीडेड फाइनेंसेस. विदाउट फाइनेंसेस यू कुड नेवर क्रिएट एनीथिंग. दैट्स द रीजन wealthy families and merchant families were very important and were given a lot of respect among this kingdom by different kings. Because you needed their money in order to create resources. And this particular man, he was so intelligent that he knew that I'm going to create an empire in the future. He was visionary. He had his mind clear in that sense. So he captured the Junar fort and took away a large amount of money. इसमें कहा जाता है कि 3 lakh horns, which were gold mohurs at that point, he took them, and he took a number of horses also, because horse is a very important entity. Animals, especially horse, is a very important entity when it came to until the 19th century. It was a very important entity, not just for transportation but also as a military resource. So that's the reason ट्रेडिंग एक्टिविटीज में जो हॉर्स ट्रेड हुआ करता था वो बड़ा महत्वपूर्ण था. इट ऑक्यूपाइड अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट प्लेस इन ट्रेडिंग एक्टिविटीज आल्सो, द कैरावन ट्रेड्स ऑफ हॉर्सेस, एंड दोज हु इंडल्ज्ड इन दीज हॉर्स ट्रेडिंग एक्टिविटीज, दे वर वेरी इन्फ्लुएंशियल, दे वर वेरी wealthy people and had connections and networks with with kings and with different important kingdoms. So he took out money, and from 56 you start seeing that Shivaji gradually is, and this money was not taken by him in order to live a very luxurious life. He was rather bent on creating his own army. So jab aap as a military strategist, if you actually take it as a military strategist, was a very important man. This particular facet, it was spoken by earlier historians such as Jadunath Sarkar and some other fellows in the 1930s 40s, जहाँ पे military strategy जो थी मराठास की या स्पेशली शिवाजी की, उसको उन्होंने बड़ा इम्पोर्टेंट दिया. लेकिन फिर उसके बाद मार्क्सिस्ट इतिहासकारों का जो इकोनॉमी पे जो they concentrated only on the economic side of history and looked at historical change only through economy and that historical materialism वाला जो पूरा issue है, because of which these facets were left out. तो military strategists तो बहुत ही at the age of 19, at the mere age of 19, when people do not even know, like, of course the situation is different from today to what it was in 1680s, 1670s. But at the age of 19, this person knew, Shivaji Maharaj knew, that I need to create my own army. I cannot depend on the army which is brought by different Deshmukhs. क्योंकि अगर मैं इन Deshmukhs के army पे depend करूंगा, so there would be a lot of times when these people would not turn out because they will shake hands with different people and they do not. And let me tell you, Shivaji had a lot of issues when he wanted, because he was becoming very powerful, and there were different Maratha families. The Nimbalkars were there, the Jedhes were there. वो भी बड़े, they also wanted to create, and they also wanted to become more powerful. But it was the Bhosle clan of Shivaji which became more powerful. Now, when this particular person is becoming powerful, the other peoples, are envious of him. That how is this fellow becoming more powerful than us? He had to, वो एक और चक्रव्यूह इनको कंप्लीट करना पड़ा. He had to, उस चक्रव्यूह को भी करना. And then, मैन पावर रिसोर्सेस पे जो उनकी पकड़ कह सकते हैं, या जो the thought which he had, or he knew that I need manpower resources, proved to be a very important facet of his strategy. कि मैं खुद अपनी आर्मी बनाऊंगा, and most of the people in his army were paid in cash. Okay, that is also another element which is not given a lot of importance. He paid them cash, and he also took a large number of his army was consisting of these peasants, जो part time peasants थे. ठीक है, so he had no problem in bringing in peasants into his army who could serve his army, and who were loyal to him. फिर another important facet जो इस अगर हम लोग करें as a managerial and an entrepreneurial spirit, शिवाजी से पहले आप नहीं देखेंगे कोई भी व्यक्ति other than the Cholas were there who जिन्होंने नेवी को थोड़ी बहुत importance दी and moved away, and also invested some sort of money into navy, but not the kind of money which Shivaji did. Now Shivaji was a person, एक facet है कि उन्होंने नेवी शुरू करी. He employed the Portuguese in order to make his naval fleet. लेकिन he did another thing. He made coastal forts. Coastal forts की बात नहीं करता है कोई. He made a number of coastal forts starting with Sindhudurg. ठीक है. So he was a person who knew that मुझे coastal forts भी बनाने पड़ेंगे in order to protect my naval fleet, और naval fleet तो बनानी पड़ेगी. And in that, he had no issues in taking over the help of the Portuguese. He had no issues. He included them. Rather, he told them that you can even become he can help me in, making the naval fleet, and, in organizing it and in managing it. So this inclusivity, this attitude of, being a very secure person in his, in that age and in that era. Also, jabki Portuguese were well aware that if this particular man, if he's finding a naval fleet, and if he's, working on making his naval fleet and going on expeditions, the Portuguese also did not want to help him after a point of time. But initially he did. And one of the generals of his naval fleet was a Portuguese man. So that speaks about how manpower resources की जब बात होती थी, तो he knew how to select talent. Now, a very important quality of a leader is how do you select talent and delegate, your work to them. It is a very important quality in leadership. अगर आप leadership की styles पढ़ेंगे तो ये भी एक बड़ा महत्वपूर्ण part है leadership का. So that shows that how good a military leader he was. And then if you see among local communities की उन्होंने बहुत सारी help ली. He was a tolerant man. He included even the Muslims. Muslims were a part of his, स्वराज की. एक मैं आपको एक बात बताता हूँ. जब वो हिंदवी स्वराज की बात करते हैं, how is his स्वराज, हिंदवी स्वराज, different from what Aurangzeb or what other rulers, orthodox rulers were doing is, he was of the opinion that even Muslims in my territory, they are also a part of my swaraj. I'm not the one who is going to, tell them to move away. He was of the opinion that they can also be a part of this Swaraj. It is not just meant for Hindus. So this tolerant outlook, it goes back to Shahji. Because Maloji, who was great-grandfather, his grandfather, he had named his son Shahji and Sharifji. They were both named behind a Sufi saint. So these people were very tolerant people who, they were accommodating people. They believed in assimilation rather than being non-tolerant. So ये सारी चीजें makes Shivaji a very different leader than others, and gets him into that frame of leaders who should be celebrated all over. And he is celebrated by a large number of people in India and at other places. Now Akshit, can I just take some more time, like 5-7 minutes? I'll just tell you certain information about the ye Afzal Khan wala episode, and then we can take up one or whatever Q&A if you have. If
Yes.
anybody has any question, then if I'm able to answer that, I'll do that. तो आप अगर वो अफजल सरप्राइज एंड शॉक वाली वो लेके आ जाइए स्लाइड जो now this shows that drafting of letters can be so, like today when diplomacy works between different leaders of nations, तो उसमें every word and every action which you do counts. What lines you are speaking in front of the people counts in front of the media. So ये जो letters हैं ये दिखाते हैं कि कितनी diplomatically कितने how good he was when he wanted to persuade people. So now Afzal Khan Afghan, and he's sent by the Adil Shahis to take over, to defeat Shivaji, and to take over certain territories, because Adil Shahi territories जो हैं उनके अंदर शिवाजी अपना he's expanding his territories to their territory. Now Shivaji writes some letters to Afzal Khan. And in these letters, he's trying to persuade him that why don't we meet and we sort it out. We sort this matter out rather than. अब मैं आपको एक बात बताता हूँ. Shivaji had an elder brother called Sambhaji. I don't know how many of you know this or not. Shivaji had an elder brother called Sambhaji, and he was killed. And Afzal Khan played a very important role in killing his elder brother. Okay, and he always had this in mind that this particular fellow is involved in the killing of my elder brother, and I'm going to. And he was probably, he had certain soft corner for that. So he knew that agar मैं मिल रहा हूँ अफजल खान से तो not the intent of signing any treaty, or he was clear that I need to get this fellow out. I want to mostly kill this fellow or imprison him. He was clear in that. That is the reason he was well prepared when he went to meet. Now, this diplomatic acumen of Shivaji we come to know when we look at, and I've given 2-3 lines of, यहाँ पे जो मैंने लिए सोर्सेस से, वो लिखते हैं अफजल खान को लेटर में. अफजल खान को वो इसमें वो कर रहे हैं, ही इज टेलिंग अफजल खान व्हाट काइंड ऑफ अ मैन अफजल खान इज, एंड आई कोट, without a man as extraordinarily and accomplished as you, I feel the armies of the arrogant of the Mughals and the Adil Shahis are worthless. Okay, so I've just picked 2 lines from it. That he is trying to show that Afzal Khan, without you, the Mughals and the Adil Shahi army is nothing. You are the person with whose help, Adil Shahi armies could conquer so many places. So this art of persuading this person and showing him to be the bigger man, that you are a very a person who would without whom these people would be nothing. You are an accomplished man yourself. You are an extraordinary person probably. अगर आप ये पूरी लाइन पढ़ना चाहते हैं तो वैभव पुरंदरे में on page 79 you can read the whole letter which he writes. And when you read this letter, अब मैं पूरा लेटर लिखता तो थोड़ा समय ज्यादा लग जाता. I'm just giving you a taste of it. Okay, that if you read the letter you'll understand. So ये series of talks जो हुई और उसमें फिर Afzal Khan was brought into the dominion, and we all know what happened after that. शिवाजी को शिवाजी ने ये strategy follow करी कि शिवाजी ने ऐसी जगह उन्हें बुलाया near his fort where Afzal Khan's army would not be able to come. अगर अफजल खान और इनके बीच में मीटिंग अगर सार चली जाती है या मीटिंग में कुछ प्रॉब्लम होती है तो शिवाजी ऐसी जगह मैं ये मीटिंग करूं नियर द हिल फोर्ट ऑफ प्रतापगढ़, जहां पे अफजल खान की आर्मी जल्दी ना आ पाए. और उस आर्मी को उन्होंने एम्बुश कर लिया चारों तरफ से, जो अफजल खान की आर्मी थी. कि he was so confident. Imagine the confidence of a man who is short, lean, and Afzal Khan being a Afghan. Now, जो मैंने जो भी चीजें पढ़ी हैं, अफजल खान was a well built man. Okay, we cannot say he was 6'4", 6'5". That is out of the scope of my study right now. But he was a well built man, and he was known. He had done it in one of his expeditions. जैसे Wadayar kingdom जो था, one of the kings had come to meet him in a similar manner, and he had killed that particular man, which many of us know. So Shivaji knew that this man is he has a precedence of killing people on the pretext of meeting them and following a certain kind of वो friendliness दिखाने के उसमें he kills them. So Shivaji was prepared, and Shivaji could, enter his tent, and all the story, and the canopy में गए वो 1659 की story है ये. 1659 में this meeting takes place, and we all know the summary and the result of that story, that Afzal Khan was killed by Shivaji, and this created an aura of Shivaji which was कहते हैं ना कि आज की एडवर्टाइजिंग एजेंसीज अगर करोड़ों खर्च कर देती तो भी ऐसी इमेज नहीं बन पाती. This particular phenomena, जैसे, and it almost gave a godly character to Shivaji among people. बहुत important role because people were scared of Afzal Khan. People were, then this man Shivaji, he kills him, in his own camp. So that proved and gave him a status and made sure that he will be a Maratha empire, and he would get the become a Chhatrapati in the coming years. एक और चीज थी इसके बाद, बहुत सारे जो ये जो यूरोपियंस थे, सबसे ज्यादा जो फॉरेन बायोग्राफीज लिखी गई हैं, अगर आप किसी कैरेक्टर की इंडिया में बात करें, दैट इज शिवाजी. दैट इटसेल्फ शोज दैट ही वाज अ मैन. Travelers would not record about someone who is not very important. Okay, we all know that travelers would only record things. Of course, mundane activities भी record करते हैं वो, लेकिन वो भी चीजें record करते हैं which are very, significant. And this man, Shivaji, was a significant man in their eyes also. They knew that he's a very powerful man and needs to be reckoned with in the coming times. So a large number of, सबसे पहली जो biography हमें मिलती है, one of the earliest biographies was written by a Portuguese when it comes to Shivaji. Cosme de Garda करके नाम है. He wrote one of the first biographical accounts of Shivaji. Okay. So I think in the end, if I have to end my lecture, I would just use certain lines that fearlessness, sacrifice, perseverance, prudence is something which we need to, are things which we learn when we speak about Shivaji, or when we, study him. The discussion should be on the deeds and not rather than on dissent. A lot of times people focus on kya lineage hai, kaun nahi. The discussion should be about the deeds rather than dissent. We need to find out that concept of independence, the fought for that also. He was not fighting for just the Marathas, but he was fighting for the whole of Deccan also. He was tolerant, he was charismatic. Okay. And one of the most important aspects of his life was him being a military strategist and him being a diplomat and a very astute administrator also. And जैसे जादूनाथ सरकार कहते हैं कि nothing proves Shivaji's genius much more than his military prowess and his military, battles which he took and which he was, very successful in. Nothing proves much more. He proved himself to be a leader of the public. So, okay, this was from my side. This was, I think I could give you some sort of information on, particular aspect of his relevance in today's world. I know it was more of a, historical discussion, but आप जब इनका फिनोमेना पढ़ते हैं तो वो रेलेवेंस उनका एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में वो कुछ पार्ट से बिकॉज ऑफ लैक ऑफ टाइम आई एम नॉट एबल टू डू दैट बिकॉज आई हैव ऑलरेडी टेकन एन आवर. वो जो एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव एक्यूमेंट था वो भी मैं थोड़ा सा एक्सप्लेन करता, लेकिन foundations of the empire or what kind of person he was, I think I'm able to, convey that to you, all you people. So over to you, Akshit, if there is any questions you may ask, if I'm able to answer then.
Yeah, thank you so much sir for your wonderful session. मुझे उम्मीद है कि हम लोगों ने मतलब हम पर्सनली बता सकते हैं कि हम लोगों ने छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज और खासकर मराठा एम्पायर के बारे में इतना तो नहीं पढ़ा है क्योंकि बुक्स में तो मेंशन है नहीं, और जो है जितना भी पढ़ाया जाता है वो उतना इनफ नहीं होता है कि उसको ऊपर 1 घंटे में हमने जितना कवर किया है, मुझे नहीं लगता हमने पिछले 4-5 साल में भी कवर किया होगा मराठा साम्राज्य को इतना. सो थैंक यू फॉर द लेक्चर. और किसी को कोई क्वेश्चन है तो आप एक एक करके हैंड रेज करें तो फिर हम एक एक करके क्वेश्चन देंगे. जी सौरभ, आप पहले पूछ सकते हैं.
Sir, as you said about Hindvi Raj and sorry, as you said about the Hindvi Raj of Marathas Empire, and we talk about many conflicts between Mughals and Marathas. So, was there any ideology of engagement of a religion, or it was, it was any, we can say, or is it that uh, greediness of spread the empire?
Oh, Saurabh, if I'm not able to understand because you're not audible properly to me. I think you speak question, then it be.
सर आई गेस वो ये जानने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं कि क्या छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज के या उनके एम्पायर के या उनके हिंदवी स्वराज का कोई रिलीजियस आइडियोलॉजी था या मतलब उस एस्पेक्ट में। वैसे आपने आंसर दिया ही है।
हाँ देखो, अब मैं आपको एक हाँ नहीं, there was an element we need to be very clear in this, that जब वो संस्कृत इंट्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं, when he is introducing Sanskrit, and अगर आप अष्ट प्रधान की पूरी काउंसिल देखें तो all the administrators they have a Sanskrit name, ठीक है, अमत्य है वहाँ पे, पेशवा है वहाँ पे, so all these पंत प्रधान है जो, so use of Sanskrit language, and in the seals also using Sanskrit, that shows that he was creating. So it will be very, very narrow for us to just say that it was only religiously influenced. No, it was a part, because I'll tell you, Adil Shahi jo rulers the, they were very orthodox. Some of the rulers in the 17th century, along with Aurangzeb, Deccan maybe, they were very orthodox, and they were very, they were not giving space to a lot of Hindus in their armies or in their administrative apparatus. And Shivaji, when he was growing up, he was aware about it. इसीलिए उन्होंने हिंदवी स्वराज का कॉन्सेप्ट दिया, that if there is a particular kingdom which is not giving enough place to meritorious Hindus, then I need to create a Hindvi Swaraj. But जो मैंने पहले भी बोला, Muslims could also be a part of Hindvi Swaraj. That's why it was not just religion based, it was self rule. The translation is Hindu people, but it was more of about Maratha, more about the people from Deccan. So he was focusing on that.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Next question, please.
Yeah.
Anyone?
भैया चैट बॉक्स में क्वेश्चन है.
Yeah, you can read that question.
Okay. So then why the treaties? Then why the treaties of other kings with the Mughals or other rulers of Delhi not given such legitimacy as given to Marathas? Isn't it for their overhype and to show the superiority of Marathas and as the savior of culture, whereas the reality is completely different?
No, treaties of other kings. No, see, let me tell you something. What I could understand from this question of Raval is why the treaties of other kings with the Mughals or other rulers of Delhi not given such legitimacy as given to Marathi. I'll tell you something. Now, this is in history. We do not, in history, whatever we should, it's not a. It's not game of, or it's not a competition that there are rulers important and certain others. But looking with no bias in my mind, looking at whatever is being written about Shivaji, I'm sure that this man was more. He had a much more impact upon Indian history. He had he contributed much more to let me tell you something about history, that we can only know a certain facets of history. We can never know truth. Okay, historical facts are different. Truth is very different from it. In that sense, what we get about Shivaji, there have been other rulers also. So if you look at the Rajputs also signed a lot of treaties with the Mughals, but those were treaties of subordination. We know Pratap because he did not sign any treaty with the Mughals. आप मुझे 2-3 स्टेट राजस्थान के ऐसे बता दीजिए जिन्होंने सबऑर्डिनेशन कभी भी झेला नहीं, कभी भी मुगलों का सबऑर्डिनेशन झेला नहीं। और आप अगर इनको तो states in Rajasthan, princely state. One is Bundi, one is the Devdas of जिन्होंने एक इक्वल लेवल पे ट्रीटी साइन करी थी मुगलों के साथ, जहां पे उन्होंने ये कहा था कि इन मैट्रिमोनियल वी विल नेवर डू एनी मैट्रिमोनियल अलायंस विथ यू. Everybody did matrimonial alliances and everybody went to the court of Akbar. So you should not. One thing is, it's not right to compare people in different centuries. हाँ, लेकिन अगर आप 1650s की बात करें तो most of the Rajputs were already serving as Mansabdars of the Mughals. But Shivaji did shake hands with the Mughals, but also went on to create an empire of his own. So I think we need to give him that due.
एम्पायर की डेफिनेशन क्या
So
है?
that's what. देखो, अगर आप there is a debate also about that whether Marathas were a kingdom, whether Marathas created a kingdom or an empire. Should we call the Maratha kingdom as an empire or not? According to me, if you have a vast territory under your under your power, and if you have administrative arrangements in those territories, जैसे चौथ और सरदेशमुखी जो है, which was started by Shivaji, they were taking Chauth and Sardeshmukhi. They were taking Chauth from a large number of people from Rajasthan. They were taking Chauth from areas as far as Bengal. Of course, Bengal में उन्होंने administrative apparatus अपना establish नहीं किया, लेकिन मालवा तक उनका administrative apparatus established है, especially in the 18th century. क्योंकि the Maratha Empire starts building up in the 1680s. Gradually, in 74 में होता है शिवाजी का. तो आप देखोगे कि एम्पायर की डेफिनेशन आज आप लेके चलते हो, दैट एन एम्पायर वुड बी, मेरे लिए सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है जब भी आप किसी एम्पायर की बात करते हो तो टेरिटोरियल एक्सपेंशन एंड एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव ब्यूरोक्रेटिक अपराटस, जो कि मराठास ने बहुत सारे अपने टेरिटरीज में एस्टैब्लिश किया, एंड दैट्स द रीजन वी कैन कॉल इट एम्पायर प्रॉब्ली.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yes, Ojaswa.
Hello, sir. I just wanted to ask in context of Maratha Desh and Rajput Vatan as to what was this perception about space in pre-colonial period in these later medieval empires?
Okay, as in what? Space, the concept of space in the sense?
The perception of space in context of the Maratha Desh which develops and the Rajput Vatan concept.
Okay. हाँ, अब देखो, नहीं, देश का जो कॉन्सेप्ट है ना, इट इज यूज्ड अमंग द राजपूत्स आल्सो. नाउ देश का कॉन्सेप्ट आपको ये समझना पड़ेगा वेदर दे आर स्पीकिंग अबाउट द नेशन और वेदर दे आर देयर ओन टेरिटरी. जो देश का कॉन्सेप्ट है, जब आप देश का कॉन्सेप्ट मराठास का देखते हैं तो दे आर स्पीकिंग अबाउट द ज्योग्राफिकल टेरिटरी. जैसे घाट एरिया है, देश एरिया है. घाट इज द हिली टेरेन, देश इज मोस्टली द प्लेन एरियाज विच दे आर इनहैबिटिंग. ठीक है. Now, if you speak about the Rajputs, they are also using the word Desh. Tan का मतलब होता है a land which is given to you by a particular monarch or by a particular leader, and it defines your status in the society. Okay. जो वतन जागीरें दी गई थी राजाओं को, वो हेरिडिटरी थी मोस्टली. They were not taken away by you. जबकि जो वतन का कॉन्सेप्ट यहाँ पे महाराष्ट्र में या मराठास के था, वो भी लैंड ग्रांट्स बेसिकली. इट वाज नॉट गिवन फॉर लाइफ, इट वाज नॉट हेरिडिटरी लैंड ग्रांट्स, बट इट वाज गिवन फॉर देम एंड इट वाज अ सिंबल स्टेटस. दैट्स द रीजन दे नेवर वांटेड टू गिव अवे देयर वतन. ये जो वतन और देश का कॉन्सेप्ट है, इट हैड टू डू विद लैंड. दिस पीस ऑफ लैंड इज माई टेरिटरी बेसिकली. तो देश का कॉन्सेप्ट इज रिलेटेड टू दैट. Mostly, you cannot equate it with nation state, present day nation state. Basically, that's what I hope that was the. और देखो, territoriality, boundaries, सब modern concepts हैं. अगर आप medieval times में जाएंगे, जो space का concept है वो है लोगों में. There is a concept of, because there is been between two just on the question of कि this particular fruit, this particular is, you know, the fruit is on the other side and the plant was sown on the other side. So there is a very interesting story which is called the मतीरे की राड करके एक बड़ी फेमस स्टोरी है राजस्थान में. मतीरे का मतलब होता है हमारे जो वाटरमेलन, ठीक है, काइंड ऑफ मेलन्स. तो उसका जो फ्रूट था वो तो किसी और स्टेट की बाउंड्री में आ रहा था, लेकिन जो उसका प्लांट था वो किसी और स्टेट की बाउंड्री में था. तो अब ये स्पेस का कॉन्सेप्ट है मिडिवल टाइम्स में, इतना नुआंस्ड है. और जोग्राफी जब चेंज होती हैं, जैसे इफ यू लुक एट नागौर एंड बीकानेर, इफ यू लुक एट मारवाड़, तो मारवाड़ का जो पूरा कॉन्सेप्ट है, जो शब्द है मारवाड़ शब्द जो है, इट कम्स फ्रॉम मरुभूमि. वाड़ का मतलब होता है इनसर्कल और मरु का मतलब होता है डेजर्ट. तो जो भूमि डेजर्ट से इनसर्कल्ड है उसका नाम मारवाड़ है. तो ये आपको दिखाता है कि देयर वाज अ कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ स्पेस available in the medieval times also, or like early modern times, 16th 17th century, people had a concept of space in their head. Okay,
So there is one question from Jani.
Is guerrilla war
Yeah, is guerrilla war
okay, I can read that.
Invention of Chhatrapati Shivaji, or it was in the existence?
मुझे देखो,
yeah,
मुझे तो ऐसा लगता है कि भाई गोरेला वॉरफेयर अगर आप रियली देखें तो ट्राइबल इन अमंग इंडियन ट्राइब्स इट वाज ऑलवेज देयर. नाउ इन ऑर्डर टू फाइंड आउट कि किस ट्राइबल एलिमेंट ने इसको शुरू किया, जैसे मैं आपको बताता हूँ कि अगर आप भील आर्चर्स देखें या भील एलिमेंट देखें महाराणा प्रताप की वॉर में, तो 1650s में ये ऐसा कहा जाता है कि मलिक अंबर जो थे, who was you know the पेशवा of the निजाम शाही, he was जो गुरेला वॉरफेयर टेक्निक थी उन्होंने शुरू करी, और फिर वहां से शाहजी ने उनसे ये टैक्टिक्स सीखी और फिर मराठास ने इनको कैरी ऑन किया. लेकिन आपको ये पता होना चाहिए कि ये टैक्टिक्स तो 1550s और 1560s में द राजपूत आर ऑलरेडी फॉलोइंग. भाई उस समय 1570s 1580s में महाराणा प्रताप वॉरफेयर ओनली. तो आप ये भी कह सकते हैं कि दिस कॉन्सेप्ट, अब इसका प्रेसिडेंस ड्रॉ करना थोड़ा सा मुश्किल है कि एग्जैक्टली कहाँ पे है, लेकिन द काइंड ऑफ जैसे द मोर यू एंड गुरेला वॉरफेयर इज नॉट जस्ट अबाउट हाइडिंग एंड डूइंग वॉरफेयर, इट इज मोर देन दैट. अगर आप गुरेला वॉरफेयर का बात करें तो इट हैज टू डू विद लॉजिस्टिक्स ऑल्सो, कि यू आर कटिंग द सप्लाई लाइन्स ऑफ योर एनिमीज. दैट इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट ऑफ गुरेला वॉरफेयर. आप अपने एनिमी को एम्बुश कर रहे हो, दैट इज ऑल्सो पार्ट ऑफ गुरेला वॉरफेयर. Okay, so guerrilla warfare is not just hiding and fighting. It has many more elements to it. Okay, so probably precedents था. Of course, there are a lot of precedents. जो आप मुझे लग रहा है पूछना चाह रहे हैं वो मलिक अंबर वाला पूछना चाह रहे हैं. अनीमी कावा कहते हैं इसको, या बारगिरगिरी कहते हैं इसको, ठीक है. the way of fighting in, you know, जो guerrilla warfare है basically. So that is what I think my understanding of this concept is.
So, sir, can we take more questions, or it's?
Yeah, we one
Okay.
probably one.
Yeah, Dr. Dushyant.
This.
Dr. Dushyant sir भी हमारे साथ जुड़े हुए हैं. Welcome sir. Yes, sir, you can ask.
Okay, hello sir.
Sir, आपका माइक बंद है.
You need to sit.
हेलो
जी सर,
आवाज आ रही है?
जी सर, आ रही है बोलिए.
हाँ, we can hear you. Yeah.
हेलो.
Yeah, we can hear you, Dushyant ji. We can hear you.
सर आप माइक बंद कर लेते हो बार.
I think your mic is off. Mic is off. I think there's some network issue probably.
हेलो.
Yes sir, बोलिए.
Yeah.
हेलो.
हाँ जी सर, आपकी आवाज आ रही है, आप बोल सकते हैं.
इसी में प्रॉब्लम है. तो मुझे कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं करना है. ये सबसे पहले कि आपको बहुत बहुत बधाई एंड समथिंग. इतना जो भी आपने बताया है 1 घंटे 1.5 घंटे के आसपास, इतना सब कुछ जानने के लिए बहुत सारी बुक्स पढ़नी पड़ेगी.
डेफिनेटली.
तो आप 1 घंटे में 1.5 घंटे में बहुत सारी चीजें शिवाजी के बारे में आपने बताया. और हम दाक्षी में जो भी होता रहता है तो बहुत कम ही, तो उसमें हम जुड़ते हैं 10 मिनट के लिए, 15 मिनट के लिए, फिर चले जाते हैं, लेकिन आज मतलब पूरा थे 1.5 घंटे स्टाफ रूम से।
थैंक यू सर,
थैंक यू सो मच सर।
थैंक यू सो मच। इफ इट वाज इंटरेस्टिंग इनफ।
और बहुत अच्छी कोशिश है दाक्षी के द्वारा जो भी ये ऑर्गेनाइज कराया जा रहा है, तो ये जरूरी भी है। तो मुझे कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं करना था, मतलब यही कहना था बस।
थैंक यू सर फॉर योर काइंड वर्ड्स।
जी
थैंक यू।
थैंक यू सो मच।
हम तो काम में बैठे थे, भूल गए थे, फिर अक्षित का मैसेज ऐसा ज्वाइन कर लीजिए।
हाँ सर ने मेरे को बोला था कि
that's
बता देना एक 10 मिनट पहले, तो मैं ज्वाइन कर लूंगा। मैंने कहा ओके सर। सो थैंक यू सो मच सर फॉर द वंडरफुल लेक्चर। बहुत सारे ऑब्वियसली जैसा कि सर ने भी कहा कि काफी सारे डाउट्स जो हैं और काफी जो जानकारी नहीं थी हमारे पास वो हमें, और स्पेशली द बुक्स यू आर मेंशन्ड।
आजकल तो जैसे आजकल के जो भी बच्चे हैं ना, वो किताब तो पढ़ना नहीं चाहते हैं,
या
वो यूट्यूब में इंस्टा पे जो फैलाया जा रहा है वही सब देख रहे हैं, उसी सब।
जी
सर हमारा इसको लेकर बड़ा डिबेट भी हो रहा था क्लास में भी आज ही, कि लोग पीपल आर कंपेयरिंग औरंगजेब एंड छत्रपति, और बोल रहे थे कि भाई जो है औरंगजेब इज मच बेटर देन छत्रपति। तो इस पे अभी सुबह मेरी काफी लंबी चौड़ी डिबेट हुई इस पे। मैंने उनको बोला, मैंने कहा आप शाम वाले लेक्चर में आइए, उनको इन्वाइट किया तो मैंने कहा आप आइए और आपको काफी सारी चीजें जानने को मिलेंगी। और उनमें से कुछ लोग जुड़े भी थे, 2-3 लोग, तो होप कि उनको कुछ काफी सारी चीजें जानने को मिली हो।
ये हमारे बहुत सारे वैरियर्स हैं जिसको मतलब लोग जानते हैं लेकिन नहीं जानते हैं, इस टाइप का है।
जी अमित आप कुछ कहना चाह रहे थे?
हाँ नहीं आप
सर मेरा एक सवाल था। मैं जब भी कोई सवाल करता हूँ तो सबसे पहले ये पूछा जाता है मुझसे कि सोर्स, सर मुझसे सवाल पूछा जाता है कि आपका सोर्स क्या है, और जब मैं सोर्स कोट करता हूँ तो उनको कुछ लोग इनवैलिड सोर्स बता देते हैं। अगर मैं एक एग्जांपल दूं, अगर मैं मीनाक्षी जैन को अगर कोट कर देता हूँ, या फिर कुछ ऐसे हिस्टोरियंस जिनको मैं हिस्टोरियंस मानता हूँ उनको कोट करके अगर मैं क्वेश्चन पूछता हूँ तो उसको इनवैलिड या सोर्सलेस चीज बता दी जाती है। तो इसको आइडेंटिफाई कैसे किया जा सकता है कि कौन सा सोर्स ऑथेंटिक है और कौन सा सोर्स हमें यूज करना चाहिए?
Okay, if it is related to selection of sources and whether this problem arises when you देखो how do you use it, so can be depends on two. There's a way how do you utilize your source, and अगर आप एक मीनाक्षी जैन is a credible historian, okay, so let's not get of whether a particular person should be considered a historian or not. In my lecture I told that either there is good history or bad history. There is no right and wrong history. Okay. Good history writing, you would option the source of information. Writing this work by his training is not a historian, but he has a large number of sources and he provides about that sources. Just as Shiv Bharat by which was by Parmanand, and on the orders of Shivaji this particular source was written in 1680s. सोर्स आपको है और वो सोर्स ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन आप किसी और एक पर्टिकुलर सोर्स के साथ कोलैबोरेट कर सकते हैं, जैसे पोर्चुगीज बायोग्राफीज हैं या विच वर मेंशन्ड बाय डिफरेंट बायोग्राफिकल रिकॉर्ड्स विच वर रिटन लेटर, या विच आर प्रोवाइडेड इन डिफरेंट ट्रैवलर्स अकाउंट्स। जैसे भाई मनुची ने भी ये बात बोली है, तारीखों में भी मिला है, राजस्थानी सोर्सेज में भी मिला है। तो अगर वो कोलैबोरेशन हो है तो वो भले ही बात किसी को भी कैसी भी लगे, दैट इज अ वेरी क्रेडिबल सोर्स ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन। Okay, so if you are important in history, क्योंकि anything can be a figment of imagination. Makes history different from literature is this particular aspect about source and evidence. That's why sources are very important. आप जब पहला चैप्टर पढ़ते हैं अपने बहुत सारे दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी के पेपर्स में, the first chapter is about sources. कि आपके स्रोत क्या है, आप इंफॉर्मेशन कहाँ से। See, good writing follows and that methodology is very important. That's the only reason. Otherwise, if you ask me if I know a question, I would. If it's beyond my scope, सो ऐसा होना चाहिए आप किसी को खारिज कर दो। ये पहले से होता रहा, जैसे जब फारसी तवारीखें लिखी गई तो लोग सिर्फ पर्शियन हिस्ट्रीज पढ़ रहे थे। अब भाई वर्नैकुलर में जब आने लगी इतिहास, जो लोग कंसिडर नहीं करते थे वर्नैकुलर लैंग्वेजेस को, कि भाई मराठी और राजस्थानी में तो इतिहास लिखा ही नहीं गया, सिर्फ गॉसिप है या सिर्फ बढ़ा चढ़ा के बातें लिखी गई हैं, तो दे आर फेसिंग इश्यूज टुडे। क्योंकि वर्नैकुलर लिटरेचर इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट इफ यू राइट। आप अहोम्स के अगर इतिहास लिखना चाहेंगे तो बुरंजीज जो हैं, जो उनकी सोर्स ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन है, उनके बिना आप नहीं लिख सकते उनका इतिहास। सो see, his static. History keeps changing. Keep that in mind. New facts are added to history each and every day. We unravel it. So there is no final history.
Yeah.
I will let just one half. Because I think he has been asking.
Yes.
Okay, it's a very big question. If you can just एक last question ले लेते हैं, ये फिर हम लोग will end the conversation.
Okay. Which question, sir, have you read? It's a very big question.
On the app, I can see.
Sir, one more question I have, that you said that Marathas were the one who were people's leaders or hero for them, but such evidences are not there. Rather, their rule was full of misrule, as they imposed high taxes, looted and plundered nearer temples and kingdoms. Moreover, such operation like rape and harassment against women by their soldiers and are criticized by their unethical work. This is also one reason quoted for not getting supported from northern kingdoms. What is your say on that? Is it true because many evidences are found in Bengal, or is it? Yeah.
Yeah, I could get. See, अगर आप इसमें ना, I can tell you one evidence which will prove that. See, I was specifically talking about Shivaji. And Shivaji's army, अगर आप एक बड़ा famous instance है कि at one point of time, his soldiers had brought in a Muslim woman, and they wanted that woman as a tribute to the king. And Shivaji very respectfully denied anything, and told her to did not do anything to that woman. Respectfully got her to her own place, wherever she had come from. So the soldiers and the main king, there is a lot of difference between them. You cannot see in that particular period of time, prisoners of war is a concept जो उस समय बड़ा atrocities होती थी prisoners of war के साथ. I'm not denying this fact. Soldiers did commit a lot of atrocities, but as a ruler he was trying to, and he was also punishing people. And we have evidence, a lot of evidence about Shivaji, even about Sambhaji. If you have read a little bit about Sambhaji के बारे में कहा जाता है कि एक बार उन्होंने किसी ब्राह्मण, ऐसे कहा जाता है, now there is a debate about it. I'm just giving you Shivaji to even his own son. When to know about certain activity of which was against his ethical behavior and value of the woman who was not behaved properly with, he strictly told Sambhaji that this is not how you rule, or this is not the values which I have taught you. So speaking specifically about Shivaji, और ये नदन पावर्स का नहीं है, आप ना इसे थोड़ा सा वैसे देख रहे हो. No, there is not one instance, there are many instances. You cannot, आप मुझे एक भी ऐसा इंस्टेंस बता दीजिए जहाँ पे शिवाजी ने कभी भी किसी वुमेन के साथ कोई भी हैरेसमेंट या उसको encouragement दी हो. You won't find. चौथ और सरदेशमुखी को आप वैसे मत देखिए. If the Marathas are, able to defeat certain rulers and take Chauth from them, then it's their, आपको उनको क्रेडिट देना चाहिए उसके लिए कि भाई they were going and defeating rulers in Attock. They were going and taking over people in Bengal. Ab now the soldiers would be performing certain activities, but you cannot, tell that Shivaji was encouraging it or not. I don't think so. That's not true. Bagi, we can, if you read more, please go through Vaibhav Purandre's Shivaji, India's Great Warrior King. उसमें खूब सारे instances हैं where you can see that this particular man was not the way you see him, or probably नदन पावर्स इसलिए नहीं कर रही थी उनसे ट्रीटी साइन क्योंकि नदन पावर्स तो खुद उस स्टेज पे नहीं थी साइन. आप मुझे 1650s में एक स्टेट बता दीजिए नदन इंडिया में who was in the position of going against the Mughals. आप मुझे एक स्टेट बता दो, सब ने तो ट्रीटी साइन कर ली. The Marathas were the only one who were fighting for their.
Yeah, there is one example बुंदेलखंड से छत्रसाल का, तो छत्रसाल और फिर शिवाजी के मतलब मराठास ने साथ में मिलके फिर मुगल्स के खिलाफ जो है वो एक कूच किया। बिल्कुल
हाँ, कुछ देखो, Bundelas also did play a role, but Bundelas were also trying to become Mansabdars under the Mughals at one point of time. But Marathas were very prudent. Bhali they were trying to help Mughals, but they were also time playing their own tricks and trade of the game, and in order to create their own empire. Now let us not stretch this debate any further.
Yes.
Let's not get into Durgadas and others. Because वो ना comparing apples and oranges हो जाता है फिर वो, it's very different.
काफी सारे क्वेश्चंस हैं उन पे हम
some-
बिल्कुल राजपूत हिस्ट्री पे या बाकी सारी हिस्ट्रीज पे हम अलग से सेशन
I would
आगे आने वाले
I would just request Akshit, I would just request you that in the coming 3-4 months, if we can keep a session on Pratap, it would be very interesting. I've done in coming 2-3 months jab bhi hum log, and if it is offline, if it is in then it would be even. And because Dakshi is doing such great work calling young historians like me onto this platform, I'm very thankful to you, Akshit. Hopefully I was able to impart the productive time of yours and mine also. I hope I was able to contribute to your knowledge, and I'm very thankful to Dakshi and Akshit for providing me this opportunity.
थैंक यू सो मच सर, एंड डेफिनेटली सर प्रताप पे हमारा ऑब्वियसली छत्रपति शिवाजी जैसे हमारे लिए आदर्श हैं एक तरीके से, वैसे ही राणा महाराणा प्रताप भी एक तरीके से आदर्श हैं। और हम लोग जो है इसीलिए हमने मतलब कि मॉडर्निटी में जो है हमारे कई सारे ऐसे राजा हैं, कई सारे ऐसे जो महाराज हैं जिनको कि उतना ही मौका मिलना चाहिए जैसे कि हमारे प्राचीन भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा को मिला है। और मतलब क्योंकि हमारा मेन था कि हम प्राचीन भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा पे काम करेंगे, पर उस प्राचीन भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा को आगे बढ़ाने का काम जिन्होंने किया, चाहे फिर वो महाराणा प्रताप हो या चाहे फिर वो छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज हो, तो इसीलिए हमने ये राइजिंग भारत के इनिशिएटिव को शुरू किया कि इसमें हम मॉडर्निटी के साथ जो है एक तरीके से उसको कनेक्ट करके चले एंशिएंट वर्ल्ड को, और इसीलिए उसके अंदर ही ये लेक्चर हम लोग कर रहे हैं। और सो इसी के लिए थैंक यू सो मच सर फॉर ज्वाइनिंग। दुष्यंत सर को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, आपको भी, बाकी जितने भी वॉलंटियर्स हमारे बाहर से भी काफी सारे लोग जुड़े हुए हैं। और सर आप कह रहे थे हिस्ट्री के स्टूडेंट्स, इसमें ना हिस्ट्री से ज्यादा बाहर के सब्जेक्ट के स्टूडेंट्स हैं जो कि हिस्ट्री के बारे में जानना चाहते हैं, जो कि अलग साइंसेस से हैं, कॉमर्स से हैं। मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल आर फ्रॉम डिफरेंट बैकग्राउंड्स। तो ये बहुत अच्छी बात है कि हर कोई भारत के इतिहास के बारे में, राजाओं के बारे में जानना चाहता है। जी
हिस्ट्री सिग्निफिकेंट
बंगाल वो क्या वो झूठ है या फिर वैसे बस मतलब गैजेटेड फाइल में नोटेड है?
आप प्लीज, मैं आपको सर की मेल आईडी भेज दूंगा, आप उस पर क्वेश्चन अपना प्लीज भेज दीजिएगा हमें।
नहीं, हाँ, बंगाल में थोड़े रिकॉर्डेड इंस्टेंसेस हैं, लेकिन आपको ये भी पता होना चाहिए ऑफ रेवेन्यू होता है, और बंगाल में इसे बहुत ही वैसे भी देख व्हेन द मराठास अटैक्ड एंड टुक अवे सम ऑफ देयर वेल्थ, तो इसको जब बाद में रिकॉर्ड्स लिखे गए तो इसको बड़ा विलीफाई करके लिखा गया मराठास को। आपको ये भी ध्यान में रखना चाहिए दैट व्हेन राइटर्स फ्रॉम बंगाल वर राइटिंग, they were राइटिंग विद द थॉट ऑफ, वो होता है ना एक विलिफिकेशन हुआ था मराठास का एक समय पे टू अ सर्टेन एक्सटेंट, सो दैट आल्सो proved that's the reason Marathas were like that, depicted like that in a lot of Bengali sources.
Okay, so if everyone can please open your camera so that we can take a screenshot. अगर सारे लोग एक बार कैमरा ऑन कर लें तो प्लीज, everyone please, प्लीज टीम से मेरी रिक्वेस्ट है कि एक बार स्क्रीनशॉट डन। ओके, सो सर दक्षी की परंपरा रही है हमेशा से, आज थोड़ा सा परंपरा में थोड़ा सा विघ्न आया कि हमने सरस्वती वंदना से शुरू नहीं कर पाया, बट हम वंदे मातरम के साथ हमारी सारी प्रक्रियाओं को, सारे मीटिंग्स को समाप्त करते हैं। तो मैं वंदे मातरम प्ले करने जा रहा हूँ, प्लीज आप लोग जो है वंदे मातरम के साथ हम लोग मीट को एंड करेंगे। जी। जी, आप सभी का जुड़ने के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। थैंक यू सो मच सर। इसी के साथ हम आज की मीट को छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज की जयंती की पुनः आप सभी को हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं। आप उनके आदर्शों पर चलते रहें ऐसे ही, और भारत को एक समृद्ध राष्ट्र बनाने के लिए अपना कार्यरत रहें, ऐसी आप सभी से आशा है। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। थैंक यू सो मच। जय हिंद, जय भारत, जय दाक्षी।